It's been about a month since Marvel Rivals was released, and it looks like the game is pretty well received. You can see over on Metacritic, it has a 7.5 from users, which shows that people really do like this game. And not only that, you can look at the Steam charts for it. It has a just under 481,000 all-time peak, or at least for the last 24 days since the game was launched, with the last 24-hour peak being a little over 300,000 players. So all in all, this game is doing pretty well. But one of the things about this game that people are starting to pick up on is let's just say the strange censorship for the games chat, because I have this article right here talking about it. Marvel Rivals ban Winnie the Pooh from game chat. Here's why. Now, games banning certain terms and words from their chat isn't really unusual, and I don't have anything against gaming companies doing that sort of thing. I mean, obviously, I think people should just grow a pair and not really be upset if they see something in the chat that they don't like. But I get it. If they're going to ban like certain gamer words and other things like that, then they're free to do that. But banning the term Winnie the Pooh definitely seems kind of strange. Not only Winnie the Pooh, but other pretty innocuous terms are being banned from the chat. But when you really start diving into the game itself and the development of it, then it really starts to make sense why they're doing that. Fans have been left wondering why mentions of Winnie the Pooh have been banned from Marvel Rivals, the new online shooter from NetEase Games. NetEase Games is an important point here. Hit the masses with a bang, as over 20 million gamers have tried it over its first month on the market. And with any major online community, Rivals has had to manage its growing list of players worldwide, fixing exploits with various patches, adding new content for the fan base to enjoy, and fostering a hopefully well-meaning positive experience for everyone who plays. Why is Winnie the Pooh banned from Marvel Rivals? One of the words phrases on Marvel Rivals' growing ban list is Winnie the Pooh, confusing gamers who may not know the character's history and the subtext surrounding his presence online. When trying to type the honey-loving character's name into the game's in-game chat, gamers are greeted with a message saying text contains inappropriate content. Now, why is that inappropriate? Well, this is ultimately why, because like I said, NetEase Games, NetEase Games is the developer of this game, and NetEase Games is a Chinese company. Now, that's important because Chinese companies aren't like companies in the West that can pretty much do whatever they want so long as they abide by the law. I mean, maybe it is to some extent though, but in China though, for companies to operate like that, what is following the law means you have to have Chinese Communist Party members working at the company at higher levels, basically making sure that the rest of the company is doing what's good for the party. And one of the things about Winnie the Pooh is that it's been kind of a growing joke online about associating the Chinese president Xi Jinping with Winnie the Pooh because he kind of looks similar to him. So since it's a mocking term for Xi Jinping, they don't allow that in this because they don't want to mock their dear leader. And that's why ultimately that they're doing this right now. And to me, it's kind of funny to point this out, just how soft they are, that they can't handle basically an internet joke. They have to ban it from their game. But that's not the only term that they're banning in this. There's a lot of other terms that people have pointed out are also not allowed on Marvel Rivals, and it pretty much gets the same text contains inappropriate content. The Chinese government has not been one to take kindly to those who do not share their values. On the Marvel movie side, the country has a long history of banning or censoring various MCU films to fit their view of what the Chinese citizens should be exposed to. Now, I will kind of argue against that a bit because it's not that the Chinese government is banning or they will ban stuff, but it's not like they're censoring stuff. It's American studios are the ones censoring it because China basically says you can't show your movie here unless you do these type of edits to it. And American studios are like, well, that's a big market. So yes, we'll oblige you on that one and make changes to our product. Even if it's kind of going against the groups that we're trying to represent or we claim that we are championing, like they'll cut out references to gay people in it, or they'll try to like downplay black people, something that a lot of these studios like Disney, for instance, will say like, yeah, we need more representation in our movies, but not in our Chinese releases. We'll be happy to cut those out because they don't like it. And ultimately we want their money. So this isn't China censoring them, but still, I mean, it's kind of China censoring them. For those who do not know, Marvel Rivals was developed by the Chinese studio NetEase Games in partnership with Marvel. So one can see why the game's development team would ban any mention of Winnie the Pooh in its in-game chat, whose name is not the only thing banned from Rivals chat. Other words or phrases typically deemed politically charged in the eyes of the Chinese government are also a no-go in game. And it's not just that they're not allowing politically charged terms. It really has to go against the Chinese government in order for them to ban it. There's this video going around from Asmongold. He was on a stream talking about, or this was brought up to him, so we decided to check it out himself here. Let's just play this little bit.
I'm going to log in. I'm going to check it right now. Okay, testing. This is me.
All right, so
free
Taiwan. Yeah, so you're not allowed to say free Taiwan. Taiwan sucks. That's allowed. Free so saying no politically charged terms, it's like, well, Taiwan sucks is a politically charged term, but they're not. They're still allowing that because it doesn't go against the Chinese government. Free Taiwan, though, meanwhile, that is banned.
Wow. Okay. All right.
This gets better though. He goes through some more other stuff here. But let me just see. Free Tibet. Free Palestine. Yeah, yes, they're still allowing that one.
Number one.
Taiwan number one. That's not allowed. Tiananmen Square. You can't. Yeah, it's actually shocking how many people in China don't actually know about the Tiananmen Square massacre. And a lot of people in the West don't understand that. But in China, they actually have a control over the internet. They don't have the regular internet like the rest of us have. It's kind of an internal intranet sort of thing that they have. So it feels like it's the internet, but it's not really, because the party has to keep a tight grip on the information that their citizens consume. Otherwise, they'll start turning against them if they actually understand the truth about what their government does and what their government's responsible for, because they don't know the freedom that they don't have. They think that they actually have it good over there. Well, like you might see like some Chinese people on social media and other things like that trying to champion them, but those aren't actual citizens of China. They might try to portray themselves as such, but they're actually employees by the Chinese Communist Party that their job is to basically try to paint a good picture for them. And there's dumb people in the West who might buy into that, but that's not actually the case. They're really an oppressed people over there, and they just don't even know it, though, unfortunately.
Tiananmen Square massacre. It didn't happen. You're not allowed to lie in this video game. Try 1989. Okay.
Yeah, that's what they think. It doesn't happen.
This is gonna be fine. You cannot even type it.
Yeah, because that's what 1989. That's when it happened. Dalai Lama. That's not allowed.
Inside job. Well, I mean,
not allowed. That's an inside. That's allowed. So yeah, you could just see some of the other terms that Israel's allowed, woke, 9/11, free pound. So
say that.
Just kind of give you an idea. Winnie the Pooh, that's not allowed. You see, Wuhan virus, that's not allowed. This is this is actually my favorite part right here. So Wuhan virus, that term is inappropriate and you can't have it here. Virus is allowed.
So you
and
can
Wuhan
say
allowed.
Wuhan and you can say virus, but you sure as hell can't say Wuhan virus.
Isn't that ridiculous? You can't say that. You can say the words individually, but not together. So you can't say Mao Zedong is evil or good.
You do not talk about him.
Yeah, you just can't even bring up his name. You get the idea, just how crazy it is for this type of game. Now, the reason why I think this is kind of interesting to talk about, though, is because, like I said at the start, this game is pretty well received, and a lot of people like this Chinese developed game. A lot of people will say, like, well, so what if they're banning certain terms on there that they don't like? The game is still good, so I'm still going to play it. And I'm not going to say not play the game or whatever. I mean, if you like the game, that's fine, because we all know that there's not a whole lot of great games that's been coming out in the last year or so. So if you find the new one that you like, then by all means play it. But I do think it is important to point out, though, that a Chinese company developing a game like this, that's good. Meanwhile, you have other companies like, let's say, Ubisoft that are developing games that are terrible, a Western game studio. But one of the interesting things when it comes into regards to Ubisoft, however, is involvement with the Chinese company Tencent, because Tencent still has the Chinese Communist Party working within them, though. But one of the things about Tencent, though, is that they're actually trying to push a lot of this DEI and a lot of the elements that have actually caused many games that Ubisoft has produced to fail. So you got some Chinese companies basically saying we don't allow that kind of stuff in our games because, or we don't want that stuff in our games because the games will fail. You have other Chinese companies, they all still have their same marching orders from the party leaders, but one saying don't do this stuff. The other one is saying push this stuff, but only for Western studios to do this. And it's looking like when it came to Ubisoft, though, is that Tencent is actually trying to push DEI on them so that their games will fail. It's caused their market value to deteriorate. And now they're offering to buy it up now. So this just seems like a ploy from the Chinese Communist Party in order to exert more influence over the Western. And that's essentially something that's been coming out that's kind of what they're trying to do. They're trying to gain more influence in the West. And this is how they're doing it, by getting Western people to play their video games. Meanwhile, reject a lot of the Western companies' video games. And then to the point where they can start buying up a lot of these studios after they fail or exert more influence over them. And then they can start pushing their own thing. Or maybe that's kind of a conspiracy, but it looks like that's what's going on when it comes to this sort of thing and why I think it's important. But just kind of going back, I'm not saying don't play these type of games or whatever. If you like a game, then play it. I'm not going to stop you from doing that, but just know that this is what's going on behind the scenes of this. But let me know what you think about this in the comment section below. Is this going to actually stop you from playing Marvel Rivals? Do you not care about this, or does it give you a bad taste in your mouth about it, or does this not affect you at all? Comment below, let me know. And also, if you haven't already, make sure you click that subscribe button if you want to stay up to date with the latest entertainment news. And don't forget to click that like button and share this video out there because it really helps out with the channel. Thank you.